We were the original standard of beauty.
The discourse around black hair does not always match the history. People of African descent have had hair for, I guess, since time immemorial, and so the fact that it was never an issue before, say, the 1600s tells you something about the history of how African Americans and people of other cultural groups were forced to see themselves in a new light, and that light was largely negative due to slavery and colonization and so forth.
When slaves were on the auction block, we were pitted against each other. And they would pick out all the characteristics that made us different to pit us against each other, so that even when we went back home, not really home, but back to the plantation, that we would bicker with each other about our differences. So the light skin was pitted against the dark skin, the straight hair was pitted against the more curly or coarse hair, even size, teeth, height, weight, any differentiation whatsoever was utilized to pit us against each other, so that we would then be like crabs in a barrel. Your hair is so nappy, blah, blah, blah. That all comes from the auction block.
The Black Power movement is inspiring because it is a sign, sort of one of the most potent signs of African Americans embracing their natural appearance. I mean, that's one aspect of it.
This brother here, myself, all of us were born with our hair like this, and we just wear it like this because it's natural, because the reason for it, you might say, is like a new awareness among black people that their own natural appearance, its physical appearance, is beautiful.
That's when our lexicon changed from Negro to Afro-American. That was a nice little moment we had. And within that moment, we went back to Africa. We began to wear dashikis, sort of like my dress, but shorter as a shirt. We began to not straighten our hair, not perm our hair. Brothers too.
What's happening?
A natural explosion from Afro Sheen.
A natural what?
The new Afro Sheen blowout kit.
Yeah, it gets rid of tangles and leaves your fro fuller and fluffier.
But how about styling?
Afro Sheen's new blowout kit makes your fro easier to style.
The brothers were wearing dashikis. Black Panther Party was wearing black leather jacket, black beret, black shirt, black pants, with an afro.
I can see how these images resonate with young people nowadays because it's inspiring, and it's also challenging because it causes people to think, well, if these young black people in the 60s and 70s had this much pride in who they were and were trying to embrace themselves, perhaps I can think about myself in a different kind of light, which is not to say that young people nowadays don't have pride, but I find that it challenges people in a good way to at least think about how they see themselves, and particularly how they see blackness.
I've been natural for 2 years, and I think being natural is phenomenal.
I've been natural for about a year and 5 months now.
Being natural it gives me a little sense of my roots and where I've come from, where my ancestors have come from.
I feel like it's important for me to be natural because I'm putting myself, in front of you. There's nothing to see, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're looking right at me. You're not looking, around me, or I'm not hiding from anybody. But I just feel like, I show my true self when I'm natural.
The biggest influence would probably be my mom. I was skeptical when I first went natural because she would always tell me that looks crazy, do something with your hair, you're not going outside with me looking like that. And I was just like, I like it, you know, it's fro. And you know, my hair started off smaller. Well, my fro was a teeny weeny fro. It's TWA, teeny weeny afro. It started off as TWA, and she just hated it. She hated it so much, and she would say something about it every day. She grew up in the 70s, and they started off with fros. But then when it became popular to get relaxers and have straight hair to fit in with the dominant society, that's what she kind of got used to. So when she had children, I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice to keep my hair natural. She just permed it. And I think she was so used to seeing her daughter, you know, with straight hair, relaxed, that she wasn't open to the change at all. So that was probably the biggest reason.
First, I'm not gonna lie, I was very self-conscious about myself because I literally, after, you know, I tried to transition and that didn't work out, I literally cut all of my hair off. Like, I literally had maybe about 1 inch of hair on my head, maybe not even. Like, it was so short. So I didn't know how people would react. I didn't know how family members would react. A lot of people embraced it, but I still had people that came up to me saying, like, you know, why would you cut your hair? And at times that, you know, that made me feel like, you know, self-conscious, or people would call me bald. It wasn't very fun at first, but I think now that it's, you know, like, I think being natural is about being yourself, and I think that was a big step in my life to, you know, like, be me and not try to be something else that I wasn't. Not that I was, but I'm just saying, you know, it kind of makes you think differently about yourself. So I kind of had to grow some balls in a sense and, you know, start believing in myself and learn to be comfortable in my own skin, you know, without everything to hide me. It's something that people should be proud of, you know, but everybody doesn't feel that way. But I do tell people, you know, like, you look really nice, you know, like, why don't you think that, you know, you should be natural? And some people are just saying they can't do it, and it is a lot of work. Trust me, it is a lot of work. But, you know, some people don't want to do it because they're scared. I guess some people feel like they may not be pretty.
Love what you have, love what you're born with, and embrace it. So I'm embracing it. Because I don't think that was taught to me, so I want to change it for generations to come. And just like now, natural hair is taking over. I just had to educate myself. It's like learning a whole new technique to doing your hair. Getting the guidelines down packed. And once I got them down packed, I like to pass them on to other people. And then when you have a natural community, that helps. So you talk to everyone else about, you know, what they like and what they don't like and what else to try on your hair. It takes a lot of work. That's why if you revert back to relaxing, I don't be mad at people. Like, it take a lot of work. You got to be, like, dedicated. Yeah. Like, for real.
I spend hours in the mirror doing my hair.
It take a long time to put those braids in and go to sleep.
I'll do my twists at 12 o'clock and have to wait the whole next day for them to dry. Yeah. And it's a pain, but the outcome is worth it. Because I do be feeling cute that first day. It's just really fun, you know, you share products, you share what works for you, what doesn't, different hairstyles, you know. It's just, I really like it a lot. But the program was definitely a success. And we had people there that were relaxed and they were asking questions too. And I think that's good too, because just because you're relaxed doesn't mean that, you know, you can't embrace your beauty also. YouTube is amazing. I go on YouTube all the time just to look at other people do stuff. That's where I learned about the coconut oil and the conditioner before I get in the shower. This girl did a 25-minute co-wash and detangle, and she really did it in 25 minutes, which, as some of you natural people know, that's really low amount of time to be in the shower and wash your hair and have it all detangled. So, like, go to YouTube if you ever want to try a new hairstyle. They have so many things, from updos to everyday wear stuff to how they wash their hair to what products they use. They always have ideas.
I just think that it's wonderful to see black women and black men, some black men who are also embracing natural hairstyles and so forth and growing their hair. I think it's wonderful to see people taking pride in what's naturally theirs. I always believe, and this is just my own personal philosophy, that when you're able to love yourself and embrace your own natural appearance, that is really the root of having a positive sense of self. You do see a variety of hairstyles amongst women of African descent, and I think that in and of itself is a sign of progress. Women don't feel constrained to all look a certain way. Nowadays, I think in general, human beings in general and within the African American community, the diversity of appearances is more accepted.